Before you do any type of detox, whether it's a heavy metal, a general detox for like toxins, waste products, if you're doing any type of parasite purge, mold, Lyme, you gotta listen to this first, because I have not only seen firsthand, but I've been told hundreds upon hundreds of times how many people have either not gotten any benefits from doing it, or worse off, felt terrible. They felt even worse, developed more symptoms after performing a detox or a parasite purge because some crucial steps were missed. Now, before I talk to you about those crucial steps, let's talk about the purpose of detoxing. So detoxing, our body's actually meant to do it. We have organs to detox us, thank goodness. The problem is, in today's day and age, we are bombarded by toxins and waste products and chemicals. And heck, if we're living or working in environments that are moldy, or we have a parasite living in us, we do have to do something more than just hope that our body's going to take care of it. When it gets to the point where we have symptoms, we do have to do something extra. But when we're doing a detox or when we're doing a parasite purge, ultimately what we're doing is we're pulling, chelating, removing those toxins, waste products that have built up within us. And those waste products can even be things like cellular metabolic waste from infections like parasites. And so when we're pulling those things out of our body, we have to make sure that we're removing them from our body, that we're not just like pulling things off the shelf. So one of my favorite analogies is when we're doing any type of detox or parasite purge, I want you to think about going and doing like a deep clean of your house. You're going into, let's do your master closet. You go into your master closet and you're like, oh my goodness, I have so much stuff in here. We got to clear this out. And all of the stuff you're clearing out are toxins and waste products from years of you living in that house, right? Like you just accumulated a whole bunch of things. And now they're not benefiting you. So you're gonna get rid of it. So what you do is you go and you get one of those big U-Haul boxes and you start filling it up with all of the accumulated stuff that you have. When we're doing a detox, we're going and we're pulling all of that stuff out of different cells of our body. And the whole goal is to fill up a container. The purpose though is to fill up that container and get that container from our bedroom, from our master closet, out to the street, right? Where a truck's gonna come and pick it up and remove it from our property. When we're doing a detox or a purge, the purpose is to remove all of that stuff, not just from one room or one compartment or one organ in our body, but to literally remove it from our body. So it needs to come out of us, either through sweat, through urine, through feces, right? Like it's got to come out. The problem is I see a lot of people going in and clearing all of the stuff from their master closet, filling up this box, but then the box doesn't leave the closet. It's too heavy. Or the box leaves the master closet, but now it's in the hallway because you just can't, you're not strong enough to remove it from your body. You're not strong enough to remove it from your house. So all of those things that you accumulated have literally just moved from one spot in your house to another. It hasn't left your house. You may have more room in your closet now, but it's still in your house. And that's what I see happen all the freaking time with detoxes. It's because you don't prepare your body to actually remove it from your house. You don't remove it from your body. So the missing step that I see happen all the time is not preparing your drainage pathways. It's kind of crazy, right? Why would we prepare our drainage pathways? Well, our drainage pathways are what remove things from our body. So if we're not draining, it means that we are accumulating. So before we even detox, we got to make sure that we're draining. Otherwise, we're just going to continue to accumulate more and more and more. Whether it's toxins, waste products, heavy metals, it can be anything. And so I highly recommend, and this is what I do with every single person that I work with, we talk about what's happening, what's going on. We find out, okay, do they have a parasite? Do they have a heavy metal buildup? Do they have other toxicities in their system? Like, what do they have? And then what we do, before we ever touch pulling things off of the shelf, we want to make sure that all the windows are open and all the doors are open and they're not locked, right? Because that's how we're going to get stuff out of the house. I'm still using the house analogy. I hope you guys are following. So think of windows and doors in our house like our bowels, our kidneys, our skin. We got to prepare all those things so that things can come out of us. So I always start by opening up and making sure the colon's working so that you're pooping every single day. Every single day. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And that the consistency and quality is where it needs to be. If you're having, like if it's constipation, you may be pooping every day, but you're having like small little rabbit poops, that tells me that you're actually going to be reabsorbing more of those waste products and toxins because the fecal matter is not leaving your body in a timely manner. It's not leaving it in an appropriate time. So I gotta make sure that, from when you eat to when it comes out of you, it's somewhere between, 18 to 24 hours. And you can check that out by eating things like beets. You can do like concentration of blueberry powder to change the color of your stool so that when it comes out, you can take back the time and see, okay, where was it at? So pooping every single day is the first thing. Most people that have parasites, that have these things, are not pooping properly. The next thing is making sure that you're hydrated, because if you're not hydrated, your body's not going to want to let go of things anyway. So we always work on hydration, getting the right amount of hydration, making sure that you have the right amount of electrolytes so that your body can be hydrated at a cellular level, so that you can have proper bowel movement, so that you can flush toxins out via your kidneys. And then one other really important one is making sure your lymph is flowing. Your lymphatic system is your sewage system of your body. It's literally removing the waste products from all of your cells. And so if your lymphatic fluid isn't draining, if it's not moving, what happens is it gets stagnant. And when it gets stagnant, nothing happens. You end up ultimately driving inflammation, which causes further breakdown, which then dries up all of the other problems that you're trying to help eliminate or remove. So I always make sure that my clients are doing lymphatic drainage techniques, whether it's opening up the specific 7, the total 12. Then we'll be working on manual lymphatic massage, so using our hands to get the lymphatic fluid in the vessels draining, to then dry brushing or gua sha. We may incorporate things like rebounding or vibration. There's so many different ways that we can incorporate different modalities or techniques to get the lymphatic system moving. And then I would be using things like castor oil to help support the liver, to make sure that the liver and the gut, because castor oil will help the gut and lymph and liver. It's one of the reasons why I love castor oil so much. It's like a nice, well-rounded technique in order to help address and support drainage. I'll do other things like maybe using things like milk thistle or dandelion root, depending upon what's going on. We 100% will be addressing things like alcohol consumption, looking at toxic exposure. So doing some of these other things to make sure that when we use things like chelating agents or killers, that our body can not only remove the things from certain rooms, like our master closet or our liver or our kidney or our uterus or wherever the toxins are in our body, that they can ultimately be completely removed from our body because all of our drainage pathways are open. We also have to make sure that we're sweating. If you're not sweating, if you don't sweat, especially like if you go on a sauna and you don't sweat, or when you work out you don't sweat, you really gotta get those drainage pathways open, because that tells me that one of your systems is congested and you're gonna have a much harder time detoxing if you don't sweat. So before you do any type of heavy metal detox, general detox, a colon cleanse, a parasite purge, dealing with or addressing mold, you gotta open up your drainage pathways first. And depending upon the person and what's going on, that's gonna take at least 1 month up to 6+ months in order for your body to be prepared to do the detox so that you get the most out of it. Let me know below if this makes sense, or even let me know below if you're like, oh my goodness, I did a detox and I didn't feel any better. You're right, I felt worse. And they didn't tell me I needed to support my lymph, my liver, my gut, hydration, or even sweating. It's crazy that, those things aren't talked about, but I hear it all the time, which is why I specifically love to focus on drainage support. Because when our body's draining, we end up feeling a whole lot better because our body's functioning better. All right, guys, before you do any of those detoxes, make sure you open up those drainage pathways. And as always, thanks for being here. Don't forget to subscribe to hear all of my other videos, and let me know below what specific drainage questions you have that you'd like me to do a video on. Happy draining!